Hi everyone, welcome back to Dr. Yeti Real Estate. It is your favorite real estate agent, Dr. Yeti, and I am back with another video. So today is very interesting. In a world where we have Trump as reelected as president, we have, shaky interest rates. Things are going down, but not fast enough. Where people are expecting interest rates to go down as low as it did 2021, 2022 days. Well, we might be waiting for a long time. Do not hold your breath, please. Things are looking a little bit iffy. Well, today I wanted to go specifically over what the NAR chief economist, Lawrence Yun, forecast for 2025 and my opinions about it. I'm going to go over some data, especially in the Atlanta market, to see what the Atlanta market looks like compared to the national average or the national median rates. And we're going to go from there. Let's talk about it. So in on November 4th, I want to say it's November 4th, actually it was November 8th, Chief Economist Lawrence Yun forecasts 9% increase in home sales for 2025 and 13% for 2026, with mortgage rates stabilizing near 6%. So let's talk about it. So in 2024, he says 2024 has been a very difficult year on many fronts. We did not get the home sales recovery this year after an awful 2023. And that's true. 2023 was very, very awful. I think that was kind of like the beginning of a market shift where interest rates were pretty high. People are waiting for the interest rates to go down. So they're not really lending. They're not borrowing as much. And property values remained pretty high. And so people were trying to time the market essentially, and so things were not looking the way that they expected or as fast as they wanted. 2024 came and it still is not where they're expecting it. They're expecting interest rates to go down, they're expecting the property values to go down, and they're really not seeing that. So things really did not move as much. It did move, well, we'll be very honest, 2024 did make a move, but it did not move as much as they expected compared to what was prior to 2023 or even prior to COVID altogether. However, Yoon explained that household equity in real estate is at a record high, right? Household equity is guaranteed. Your equity will continue to go up as time goes on, right? You're going to have an increase in equity. Why is this? This is because the inflation is high, right? Let's go over inflation really quickly before I continue. Let's look at here. Let's look at this. Inflation was reported, CPI. Okay, so year over year, inflation is 2.6% year over year, right? As you can see, year over year, inflation was 2.6%. Which is exactly what they forecasted. They forecasted that it would be 2.6%. In November 2023, it was 3.2%. So inflation year over year, so around this time last year, inflation was 3.2%. So it did go down. It did go down. So we're slowly decreasing inflation. It is Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, is lowering interest rates. It's not as fast as we would like for it to go, but it is faster than it is getting lower. So Yoon explained, okay, so this means there has been a huge increase in wealth for realtors' past clients to the tune of 35 trillion. Wow, okay, that's pretty interesting. So $35 trillion worth of equity in the past year. That's very interesting. Yoon highlighted the glaring difference in estimated median net worth between homeowners and renters. So the median net worth of homeowners is $415,000, and the median. Now let's be for real here. At least not in Atlanta. I don't see the median net worth for renters being 10,000. Honestly, from my experience with renters here in Georgia or in Atlanta, in the Atlanta area, they want basically like, 3 times the rent. They want, background checks, all these things. You have to have the income to rent an apartment, and most of the time the cost of the monthly rent, the cost of the monthly rent are typically close to the cost of a monthly mortgage payment. So, renters having a net worth of $10,000 in Atlanta, I don't know. I don't know if I can agree with that, but this is a national average. And if he's making a statement like that, maybe, right? Homeowners' wealth steady rises while renters' wealth does not, says Yoon. So he's trying to say that the wealth of homeowners are rising and the wealth of renters are not. If you don't enter the housing market, you are in the renter class where wealth is not being accumulated. If you want to participate in the housing market, the sooner you get it, the sooner you accumulate wealth, which I 100% agree with. Well, no, I don't want to say 100% I agree with. I agree with some of the things that he says. So let's kind of break it down, right? He said homeowners' wealth steady rises while renters' wealth does not. I can't agree with that, right? Because some people are homeowners. You have to understand that owning a home is more costly than renting a home, right? So forget, let's just say, buying the home, putting in a down payment, all that stuff. Let's say you've been living in the house already for a couple of years. You still have maintenance, right? Property taxes are steadily increasing. Yes, you're building equity in that property, but the renters are, some renters can be saving money as well. They could be investing. You can't just say that just because a person is renting a home doesn't mean that they are not increasing in wealth just because they don't own a home. And also, I personally do not believe that owning one house is considered wealth. I think, yes, you're investing and you're making some growth in your investment. Your return on investment is growing, but I would not necessarily call it wealth. I would not call it wealth. And I think it's so funny when people say, oh, we're going to buy this house. You're building generational wealth. Like, generational wealth, I don't know. I guess it just depends on what your definition of wealth is. But I personally don't believe that owning a home is considered wealth. But that's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you agree with me, or not, let me know in the comments. And then he says, if you don't enter the housing market, you are in the renter class where wealth is not being accumulated. Well, yeah, it's not being accumulated in real estate, right? And that's only if it's a real estate in the home that you're living in. Just because you're renting does not mean you don't own real estate as an investment property, or you don't have real estate in other aspects of your life, right? Commercial, whatever real estate venture you're going on, right? So I don't know if I really truly agree with this, but if you want to participate in the housing market, the sooner you get in, the sooner you accumulate wealth, which is 100% true. I agree with that. The thing about people saying, oh, you want to wait for the interest rates to go down, blah, blah, blah. But the thing you have to understand is you cannot time the market, especially when it comes to interest rates. You cannot say that, okay, I believe you can follow speculation, right? However, the prices of the home is not going to wait for interest rates to go up and down. The prices of the home might go down slightly, but home prices will continue to increase over time. It is like a guarantee, right? Those homes in 2008 that crashed, right? 2017, it was at its peak, and in 2010, it was at its lowest price. Those homes now, if you kept the house that you bought in 2007, 2008, I guarantee you it went up significantly in value in 2024. So it's never too late or too early to buy a property. If you're able to afford the property, you should totally buy. And I'm not saying this as a realtor. I'm saying this as just a person. If I'm talking to my friend, if I'm talking to my family member, if you are able to afford buying a home, and this is something that is not going to hurt your pockets, you're comfortably able to make payments every single month to a mortgage, I would highly suggest that you purchase your home. But that's just me, right? Who am I? I'm just a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. So Yoon also highlighted that the home ownership rate is much lower among young Americans, and first-time home buyers are having trouble entering the market. Which, I mean, I could see that, right? A lot of young Americans, you're just starting off. Home prices are not going down. Interest rates are high. Economy is not looking the best. So are they able to afford buying a house right now? It might not work out for them because let's say they're just graduating from college, starting their first, big boy or big girl job. Is that going to be able to pay for that house? Are they going to be able to afford it? That's a question that you have to kind of ask yourself. So Yoon pointed out that U.S. job gains since the beginning of COVID-19 pandemic have led to record high payroll employment as of September 2024. I'm going to reread this, and I'm going to reread this. And before I even make my opinion, I want you guys to comment below what you think about this statement. Yoon pointed out that U.S. job gains since the beginning of COVID-19 pandemic have led to record high payroll employment as of September 2024. Now, I'm going to go over, let's see, I have so many tabs up on here. Let's go over unemployment rate. Right, and I'm gonna go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Unemployment rate, and I'm gonna reread what he said. Okay. Since the beginning of COVID-19 pandemic, have led to record high payroll employment as of 2024, September 2024. September 2024. February, March, September 2024. Okay, let's just gonna. In September 2024, unemployment rate, meaning the amount of people that are not employed that filed for unemployment in the United States was 4.1%. He said what did he say? Since the beginning of COVID-19, he said March 2020, it's at a record low. So March 2020, it was 4.4%. 4.4% versus 4.1%. Let's be for real. Let's be for real. Let's be for real. He's saying it's at a record high. Now, you see this huge jump over here? This huge jump was because during 2020, COVID, they promised, not even promised, they were giving, unemployment checks were looking crazy. Like, people were making more money. Some people were making more money with unemployment checks than they were actually working. So a lot of people applied for unemployment during this time period. A lot of people applied for unemployment. So yes, it was a huge spike during COVID, but this was an outlier. We're not going to even pinpoint this. This is a significant outlier. It was not a record low in September 2024 at 4.1%. It is higher than what it was prior to, let's say, even 2019, March 2019, it was 3.8. Come on. To make a statement like that is very disingenuous. It was not. It's not a record high, unless there's something that I'm missing. Unless there's something that I'm missing. There's a higher rate of unemployment here in the U.S. at this time compared to what it was around this time last year. So I don't know if I can agree with that. When more people work, they have the capacity or they are in a better position to buy a home, stated Yoon. It says home sales depend mainly on jobs and mortgage rates, which I definitely agree, right? The more jobs there are, the more people are able to buy homes. And mortgage rates, the higher the interest rates are, the lower or the less people are going to want to purchase a home. Regarding whether we are going to see an acceleration of job growth, you stated the stock market is very optimistic, which is very true. But I will say, me being able to study the stock market for a long period of time, I can tell you that the reason why, a very good reason, and not the only reason, but a very good reason why the stock market is looking very optimistic is because of inflation. Because of inflation, prices are going up, stock market prices are going up as well. I don't know how long it's going to last. However, you have to understand that inflation can cause the stock market to also rise as well. Yoon addressed mortgage rates during the second Donald Trump presidency, saying mortgage rates in his first term at 4% were the good old days. Okay. Are we going to go back to 4%? Per my forecast, unfortunately, we will not. It's more likely we'll go back to 6%. That will be the new normal, bouncing around 5.5 and 6.5. Now let's go with what he says here. Mortgage rates in his first term at 4% were the good old days. I don't know if he's like, so let's kind of look at mortgage rates here. Sorry, I had to zoom it in because I want to make a point. So his first time in 20 the Trump's first term was in 2017. So that was when Trump came into office in 2017. So we're going to do that. We're going to kind of see what the market was looking like. He got elected 2016, November 2016, and 4%. So the lowest during Trump's term was 3.78%. The lowest interest rate during Trump's term was 3.78% in 2017, the first year he was in office. And then after that, it just kept going up. It kept going up. 2018, November 2018, it started going down. COVID hit, boom, it just went down even more. I would not necessarily say I would say that actually. Trump's term is the reason. Trump's term was pretty good, I'm not going to lie, because even prior to COVID, it was pretty low. It went down to at least 3.55%. I was going to argue what he said, but I can't argue that. During Trump's term, even prior to COVID, interest rates were pretty low. It went down to 3.49% at some point before COVID hit, and then boom, it just kept going down. So Trump might have played a part with that. I will give him that. I will give him that definitely. So yeah, is it going to be around 6%? Most likely. And I know a lot of people are trying to wait for the interest rates to go down lower than that. It's probably going to get worse before it gets better. So you just kind of have to brace yourself until it does. But, with Jerome Powell and Trump not really liking each other, or Trump wanting Jerome Powell to resign, it's likely that Jerome Powell is going to kind of take his foot a little bit off the pedal while things are happening in the U.S. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Yoon said we can expect 6 to 8 more interest rate cuts. He also gave advice to the chair of the Federal Reserve on when to make these cuts. My advice to Jerome Powell, do it in January rather than December. Can someone please tell me why he said that? Do it in January rather than in December, right? Because I understand, it's the end of the year, if you cut interest rates, but who is that going to affect when it comes to housing? Please comment down below. Like I said, I'm a real estate agent. I'm kind of learning with you guys. I really want to know why he said to do it in January rather than in December. Yoon expects there will be 4 different rounds of rate cuts in 2025. He also addressed the budget deficit. The budget deficit. The U.S. definitely owes a lot of money. Moolah. Today we have a massive budget deficit at a time when we are not in an economic recession. Explained Yoon clearly, President-elect Trump will not stop tax cuts. He will extend or expand them. We don't know. We don't know. Clearly, we don't know. He could change his mind. He could do whatever he wants. He's the president. So we can't just say clearly Trump is not going to stop tax cuts. He's going to do whatever he, not whatever he wants in office, but at the end of the day, we can't guess and say, oh, clearly Trump is going to do this. Like, we don't know that, man. United, there will be less mortgage money available because the government is borrowing so much money. However, if the Trump administration can lay out a credible plan to reduce the budget deficit, then mortgage rates can move downward, which, I mean, yeah. He also explained that another way to address the budget deficit is to bring down the price of housing. Now, this is where we kind of get into rough waters, because now we have a budget deficit, meaning the U.S. is in debt. The U.S. is in debt, meaning they need money. So they're either going to print money or they're going to borrow more money. Well, as you can see, more money is being printed, right? And so inflation is going to go up as a result. And then inflation goes up as a result, the home prices have to go up. Either that or they have to increase interest rates. So because as home prices goes up, interest rates goes up. As interest rates goes up, people are less likely to want to borrow money to buy a house because it gets more expensive to borrow money. Now, the home prices, they tend to go up because of inflation. Prices of items go up when inflation goes up, right? However, because no one wants to buy the house because of how expensive things are, homeowners are going to be forced to reduce the prices of the homes, which is unfortunately what seems to happen very soon. It seems like home prices will start going down because properties have been on the market for such a long period of time that it becomes harder for homeowners to say, okay, I want my house to sell at this price point, but however, no one wants to buy it at this price point. I might have to lower the price. It's gonna bruise some egos. It's gonna bruise some egos because I know all these property owners. Oh, I know my home, it's worth this much. I'm not gonna sell it for any less. Well, guess what? The market is going to humble you. Okay, unfortunately, I agree with Yoon on this one. I had a property on the market for almost 80 days, and the sellers were very adamant about keeping the price point the way it is, understandably so, because they were not going to make any profit on the property. They just wanted to get rid of their mortgage and move on with their lives. However, because of their strict restriction on how much they needed for the home to sell, all the offers that were coming in did not meet their terms and the price they were looking for. So they had to turn down a lot of offers. So the house was on the market for longer than necessary. Thankfully, we were able to close on the property at the price and the terms that they were asking for. However, it was not an easy feat at all. As beautiful and lovely the house is, no work needed on the house, or very little work needed on the house, it still took forever to get that home sold. So, homeowners, if they really want to get the home sold, if they're in a tight bind, they might have to put their egos to the side and actually consider lowering the prices of their homes if they want to get their home sold in today's market. We have to have more supply, said Yoon. Per our advocacy efforts, we're trying everything we can do to boost supply. Now, this is a national average. I in the next video that I'm going to be creating, I'm going to go over some statistics in Atlanta and show you that Atlanta doesn't really have any issue with supply or inventory. The issue is getting people to buy. Or the issue is just getting buyers, really. Yeah, that's really all it is, just getting buyers to buy the property. The inventory is not the problem. It's just finding incentives to attract the buyers. So I wouldn't say inventory is the problem in the city of Atlanta. I don't, if nationally if that's the problem, then I cannot say that that's what it is. And even when I'm thinking about Florida being such a very just intense, drastic case out there, they have surplus inventory, way too much inventory if you ask me. There are agents that have listings that have not sold in months, so there's surplus inventory in these areas. I'm not really sure about maybe the Midwest and the West Coast. I don't know what's going on over there, but at least in the Florida, Georgia area, it's a lot of inventory. It's a lot of inventory. So you noted that 2023 was difficult for existing home sales, and 2024 looks to be the same. However, he flagged that we did get an increase in pending home sales in September and provided his forecast for existing home sales. That's nice. Maybe the worst is coming to an end, added Yoon. Directionally, I think there's going to be a roughly 10% boost in existing home sales in 2025 and 2026. Yoon projects new home sales to be 11% higher in 2025 and 8% higher in 2026. Yoon forecasts the median home price to be 2% higher in both 2025 and 2026. So that's his forecast, and I don't know if I 100% believe that new home sales will increase by 10%. However, from 2023 to 2024, home sales did increase year over year. And like I said, in my next video, I will be showing you guys the data, the information that I'm talking to you guys about right now. I'll be sharing with you guys so you can see where my mind is when it comes to where the market is in the city of Atlanta and the forecast, my forecast for the next coming year. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, that's the end of this article. Please let me know what your thoughts are about what the NAR chief economist Lawrence Yun says about the market and what his forecasts are for the real estate market moving forward in 2025 and 2026. Hey, I don't have a bone in this. Yes, I'm a realtor, but I really am a realtor. I'm just here to help people, right? If you want to buy, if you want to sell, you just come to me. I'm not in the game of trying to force or convince anyone to buy or sell anything they don't want to buy, right? Because I understand in this market right now, it is difficult for realtors, to be very honest. Those realtors, especially the ones that are starting off, it is pretty difficult. I've been an agent for almost 2 years now, so it is not an easy feat. I started real estate at a time where real estate is not the easiest, right? But I still keep going because I genuinely enjoy it. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy, I just enjoy the field. You know what I mean? So I'm not in the game of trying to convince anyone to buy or sell. If you don't want to buy, you don't have to buy. If you want to wait, you can wait. If you want to work with another agent, you can go right ahead. You can go right ahead. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. You know what I mean? So I say all of this to say, this is my unbiased opinion about everything. I do believe that, it seems like things aren't looking well and things are not moving. But if you really look at the charts in the city of Atlanta, it is moving up. Like, properties are closing more than it was last year. It's not a huge jump. It's not a huge significant jump, but it's still pretty good in terms of sales year over year. And every single month over month in the past couple of months has been pretty good. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. Let me know if you like it. If you have any thoughts about anything that I shared or anything against anything I shared, please comment down below. I would love to have a discussion with you guys to see your thoughts about it. Anyway, thanks you guys so much for watching. I love you, and remember, God loves you even more. Bye.